Hi Brad, thank you for joining us today. It's Randwick in Sydney. The rail's out quite a long way. What's the overnight weather reports, Brad, and what sort of track are we expecting this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Nick. We only got a mill overnight. Unfortunately, the damage was already done throughout the week. They were on a heavy 9. Track manager Navesh Ramdani suggested that we won't get an upgrade. We're unlikely to get a downgrade. So heavy 9 is what we're playing on. As you say, the rail's out 9 metres. That generally tends itself to a pretty even track, but you imagine they'd just get off the fence a little bit as the day unfolds, as they tend to do in Sydney when we get these soggy surfaces.
Okay, one of the horses you picked out for us is in the 4th on the card. Monzur Sisu has been replaced as favourite. The toppy's out of this one, and Sweet Victory now into 2.6. Monzur Sisu 2.7, but does love the 1600 metres.
Yes, and he loves the wet. More importantly, all 3 of his career wins have come on heavy tracks. I don't think that's necessarily because he's just simply a wet tracker as such. I think he's just one of those horses that tends to go the one pace in all of his races. So wet tracks seems to suit him because the others can't sustain that sprint to go past him. He gets complete control on the map here, which is why I love his chances. He's been knocking around in some okay races, at least some good form races. 2 back behind Quackerjack, and Primitivo was behind him. No Escape was behind him that day. They've both come out and won Saturday races themselves. And then last start, in a leader-dominated race, that's the replay we're going to have a look at here. Commander and Tory Joy dictated from the front. Tory Joy came out last week and won by an impressive space. So there's nothing wrong with that form line either. And as I say, I think this is a lovely race for him. As you say, he loves the mile. The wet track is beautiful, and he should get complete control out in front. So a little bit of a D-day for him, but he couldn't get a race more tailor-made for him, is what I should say.
Brad, he's 2.7 with our TAB right now. Do you think he'll be a shortener during the day, or do you think there's a chance he could bounce out?
I think there's a chance he could bounce out just a touch. But that said, when these horses who map so well, it generally attracts the attention of the professionals out there. So he could go either way, but I do see myself maybe just getting a point or two better, but certainly not anything in the $3 mark, maybe $2.80, $2.90 at best.
He'll be ridden by Kathy O'Hara, as will your selection in the 6th on the card. Dr. Drill went to Flemington last start and raced on the speed. Can he do so again here? Because as we know, these Sydney races, once they get up to the 1800 and the 2000, if you can jump and be on the speed, Brad, it's a big advantage because often there's not great early tempo.
Yeah, it's the old golf cart theory, isn't it? You all just go at the same pace on the way home, so selling positions are certainly important. You're right, I'm Team Kathy there today at Randwick. Now, this horse is trained by Kieran Maher and David Eustace, and we're noticing a little bit of a trend in Sydney with this particular stable knocking off our staying races, and I think this might be the best of them yet. He's certainly priced accordingly. He looks a really talented stayer, Dr. Drill. He's an import that's hit the ground running in his first Australian campaign, which is a really good sign. That suggests that they're pretty talented because it normally takes them a preparation or two to settle in. He was dominant there last start. Finally broke through. He was knocking on the door prior to that. I love how he can do it at both ends. He takes up a spot, can dash from on speed, which bodes well for your chances in any particular race. Now, the query with him is how he gets through these heavy conditions. He hasn't seen anything worse than a soft, and that soft deck was at Flemington, which is very, very different beast to Randwick, as we know, one of the toughest wet tracks to get through. But we take that chance. I think he's clearly the horse to beat. I think he's getting about $2.20 at the moment. So I think if he was on a good track or even a soft deck, you'd be taking closer to even money. So you might be getting a little bit of premium due to the unknown, but I do think he's clearly the best horse in the race.
Brad, we have a gigantic Pick 6 pool available here in New Zealand today. For those who don't get it, Brad, and are licking their wounds, do you have one for us later on in the program?
Yeah, I think we'll go with Charioteer. This is a horse that really relished the wet track there last start. Very comfortable on the heavy ground at Randwick. Lost narrowly to No Doubt. Although he was a long time between drinks, he's a pretty reasonable benchmark horse. He was back in grade that day. Charioteer faces a very similar task here. I think he can only run well. I like that bare naked lady form from a couple back. He was okay in 2 efforts at Warwick Farm in between them, but he did look to have his chances, just the way he skipped through the wet track there last night, which has him pretty confident about his hopes. I do like the 3-year-olds in this race. Plenty of cash has come for Lundberg. He's a pretty popular horse, but I think this bloke is the one who really ticks that wet track box, and he'll skip through it. Very consistent horse, gets the right run. He has to be somewhere in the mix again. That's race 8, number 12.
Brad, thanks for your time. Back a winner over the course of the weekend. We thank you for those 3 to follow at Randwick today. That was Brad Gray out of New South Wales.